What is happening, everybody? My name is Pablo Ortega, and I am here to do another quick live edit with you guys. Today we're going to be working with an HDR Photo Merge with some photos that I took for a custom home builder. And it's going to look a little something like this. We're taking 3 bracketed photos and combining them into one. That way we've got plenty of information in our shadows, our highlights, as well as our whites and our blacks. And I'll show you how to do all that on the Lightroom. First things first, let's go ahead and open Lightroom up. And here we go. Okay, so I've got my 3 photos here. Like I said, these are bracketed photos. I'm not sure if you know what that means. If you don't, definitely check out some resources. You can get super creative by using bracketed photos. Here I've got a bracket of 3, and what I'm doing in layman's term, I'm putting my tripod down, I'm releasing the shutter, and it's taking 3 photos simultaneously, each with a different exposure value, one compensating for the highlights, one compensating for the shadows. And what Lightroom is going to do is going to combine all that data together, and we're going to use that photo to create one final image. So I'm going to go ahead and get started so we can make this quick. I just selected all of my photos. I'm going to right click. I'm going to go to Photo Merge, and I'm going to do HDR Photo Merge. Now this weird preview comes up, which you can bypass by selecting all your photos and hitting Command Shift H or Control Shift H on a PC. I'm going to go ahead and merge these. I'm happy with how it is. So Lightroom in the background is combining all of the data of all of these photos. So what that means is that we will get one image that has the shadow values of this image, of our first image here, and it's going to have the highlight values of this image, and then our balance values of this image right here. It does take a little bit for Lightroom to do this, so you do have to be patient. If you have a large set of them, you want to auto stack and then batch merge all of these. There is a way of doing that. I'd be happy to show you guys, but for now, I want to keep it simple, and I want to just work on one of these. So it looks like this is our final merged image. I'm going to go ahead and go to Develop, and boom, we have a photo here that has all of the highlight values of this image, which would be this area, all of the lights. It has all of the balance values of this image, and it has all of the shadow values of this image. So this area down here, these areas up here, all that. So I'm going to go ahead and go to my final image here. This is my merged image, and we can start messing around with this. We've got so much data inside this image that we can create virtually anything we want. I mean, I could take my shadows all the way up. I could take my highlights all the way down, and it looks like Lightroom wants to be super slow for me right now. And there we go. It popped up. That wasn't very seamless, so you couldn't really tell, but if I come all the way up on my highlights, you can see I can blow them out very easily. But then I come to the opposite end, and I gain that information back. Now, typically I wouldn't go this hardcore. Right now, because this is kind of more of an interior design look, it is for a builder. It's for a photo book that they give to their clients at the end of the build, so they have pictures of their entire house after it was built. Super nice idea, really great for your clients. But yeah, so I'm going to keep that a little blown out. If you look in interior design magazines, usually the windows are blown out. This isn't a real estate photo, so I don't have to necessarily show the exterior and the livable space. Right now I'm just, you know, capturing the kitchen with how it looks in its pristine condition. I'm going to go ahead and bring my shadows back down a little bit because I lost a lot of depth. I'm going to probably stick right there. Again, my highlights control back here, but also my lights up here and here. I don't want them blown out again, so I'm going to keep them centered like I said before. My whites I probably won't touch. I'll leave those alone. My blacks might tune down a little, but I'm actually going to keep them set because I'm going to use the tone curve to bring some of that depth back. When I'm doing interior design, I kind of want it to be airy. I don't want it to be You know, I don't want to bring out the clarity slider. That's way too harsh. My texture, I don't want to make it on the opposing end like if it was like if I had a foggy lens. That's just not that great looking. I'm gonna add a little bit of texture. I'm gonna go up to 15 just to make it give it a little more of a sharpened look. I love my vibrance. I love the colors right now. Let me take my saturation down just a tiny bit. Let's go to -5. Let's jump my saturation up. I'm happy with that. Let's add some depth here real quick. I'm gonna do the typical S curve, standard, just to see how that looks. And I can already tell I'm getting great depth, great detail. These got a little bit too radioactive over here, and you can tell from my clipping. Okay, the wall's not fully radioactive, but I just don't like the way it looks. So I'm going to bring this back down to its standard level. I'm going to bring my midtones back to the middle, and I am going to pump those up just a bit because I do like what that's doing there. My shadows, see, it just looks flat right there, and I just drop this down just a tad bit, and boom, got that depth back. This photo is a little bit on the dark side now that I've added the tone, so I'm going to bust my exposure up a little bit, and that is an airy photo, and I really like the way it looks. I like how my white balance is a little bit warm. I could always go, I know this is white, click on it, but it's a little too clean for me. Since this is more of a look into a look for the client, I want it to be warm. I want it to be inviting for them. So I did bump up my temperature up a little bit on my yellows. I'm going to keep the colors the same because I want to represent this space as it is, as its whole. And I do like the way that looks. We're not going to touch that. Absolutely no split toning when I'm doing architecture and real estate. Sharpening, always sharpen your photos when you're doing interior design, real estate, or architecture, because we are trying to see all the detail. We're trying to see what that wood looks like. We're trying to see what this hardwood floor looks like, what that tile in the background looks like. There's no noise, so I don't need to do that. I'm removing chromatic aberration and enabling profile corrections because it does give me that extra boost, that extra distortion fix for my lens. You know, I don't typically do vignetting on these. It just kind of, I don't know, it's not something I'm gonna do on this one. I don't need the vignette to pull my focus in because the photo already does that, especially when I crop it. It's gonna help me out a ton there. Oh, one other thing that you can do is you can go to your transform curve or your transform module here. It's super helpful in real estate and architecture. I just hit vertical and it'll take all these lines and all these informations and all the information in the lines, and it'll correct it for us. So now if you're looking at this, all of these lines should be straight, and you could bring a grid if you wanted to double check that. And I can tell just from looking at this grid that I'm going to be happy with these lines. You can see right there, everything looks straight. And in architecture, real estate, and interior design, it is very important to get your verticals straight up. That is the #1 thing that separates a good real estate photo from a botched one. So I'm very happy with that transform. I am going to crop this a little bit. I don't like this vent up here, so I want to get rid of that. I do want to keep the light fully there, so I'm going to do that. I don't need all of this mess and all of that weird information there, so I'm going to pump this up here. I also got rid of this weird green line. I didn't need that. I do want my center grid here to be the middle of the photo, to be the oven back there, the range, the hood, the lights, the sink, because that's where I want to pull the focus, and I am done with that. And there you have it. That is a finalized photo. I'm happy with this. This is something that I would deliver to a client, and I'm pretty sure I did. If we look at that after again from OBS here, and give me a second as I transition to this. So yeah, so that is how you take 3 bracketed photos, merge them together in Lightroom into one with a bunch of information, and then creating a final image. It's super helpful, again, if you're doing real estate. Again, there's some more advanced techniques if you want to if you have a whole set of them, and like I said, you have 3 of a kitchen, 3 of a bathroom, 3 of a sink, 3 of whatever else, you hit auto stack by capture time, and Lightroom automatically knows to put each photo that was taken within 3 seconds of each other together, and then you can click on all of them and auto merge them all in a batch. It makes it very fast, super easy to do, and I think that is all I needed to cover here. If you have any questions about bracketing, if you have any questions about anything that I did here, feel free to write it down in the comments and let me know. I'm always looking and trying to help you grow, and this is helping me tremendously because I get to really dial in what I'm doing, and it helps explaining it as I'm doing it, because it's all about muscle memory and keeping all that up here where it is important. So again, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to write them down there. Subscribe if you haven't already. I will be doing a lot of these live edits. And again, if there's anything you want to learn, hit me up and I will make something for you. And until next time.